How much time do you waste per day? I want you to think about that number right now. Got it? Okay, good. Don't forget it because you will need it throughout the video. Michael over here spends 6 hours a day not doing anything even close to productive. Yeah, he goes to university, but when he has no classes, he just spends his time gaming, watching porn, mindlessly browsing through social media, messing about on Discord, and being sad whenever he sees other people his age getting ahead and achieving their goals. Actually, the time he spends in university is not that productive either, as he only went there because of the pressure from his parents. He doesn't know what he will do with his degree, and he doesn't know how to get out of this life that he seems to be wasting away day by day. If you feel bad for Michael, it's probably because at least some part of you has walked in his shoes, or perhaps you are exactly like Michael right now. The 20s in a person's life are described as the best time to be alive. A young person is full of potential, and your 20s is the time to start building a career, meet new people, and develop relationships. It's a time to go on adventures and just do the things that you could never do if you were a kid, or as your life changes with age and new responsibilities. Sadly, many people, especially young men these days, completely waste these amazing years on things that will bring nothing but regret. Remember when I asked you to think about how many hours per day you waste? Well, you have that number in mind right now. So in this video, we're going to talk about 5 big time wasters that people have in their 20s. The first biggest time waster in your 20s is gaming. This could even be the most damaging time waster of them all. Why? Well, unlike other habits that I will mention here, playing video games puts you in control. Watching a movie, scrolling through social media, even watching porn, all these things put you in the passenger seat, just observing what is happening. With video games, you can't just put the controller down whenever an enemy appears, like in a film. In fact, you have to sync up yourself with the character and do what you can to win. Video games mimic real life, where you can feel fulfilled from building new skills, going through important life events, and growing, facing, and solving problems. As you begin to replace these real life things in the virtual world instead, your brain stops pushing you to achieve great things in reality, because your brain will always seek easier things that require the least amount of energy. So the problem with this is that if your mind gets all of that from a video game, then you don't really advance in your real life, and instead actually degrade. And then you justify gaming more and more because your life sucks. Video games are deceptive in the amount of time they waste. A few hours every day doesn't really seem like a lot, but 3 hours a day is 21 hours a week. That's the equivalent of a part-time job. And let's be real, most of you aren't playing a few hours a day. It's more like a few hours a day and then all day on the weekends, or even worse. Another big time waster is the constant consumption of entertainment. Watching a movie or a few episodes of a TV show every now and then, okay, sure, no problem. But films and TV series share the same problem with video games. They imitate real life. When we watch this digital media, we get wrapped up in the story, characters, drama, cliffhangers, and so on. You constantly consume these parodies of life. The real thing becomes too dull, too difficult to handle, to the point that one chooses to live their life through the characters they watch on screen. Not only that, there's an endless amount of entertainment content to consume. It's not just a few episodes here and there. It's 10 seasons of Sopranos. The show itself takes 86 hours to watch, and that's just one show. There are new shows all the time. The amount of content is almost infinite. For many of us, we don't just waste our time watching one type of content. We watch a few shows, play a few video games, and rationalize it because we focus on the individual time of each activity. There's nothing wrong with playing video games a couple hours a day. That sounds fine. But then we also watch shows for a couple hours a day, and now the time we've wasted is almost doubled. And the way we double or triple the amount of time we waste every day will be obvious by the end of the video, so make sure you keep watching until the very end. Yet another way to escape reality and waste time is by watching porn. Finding a partner, developing a relationship, and creating a family is the biological purpose of a human. The problem with that is the steps it takes require sacrifice, pain, and time in order to be completed. Remember when I said the brain will always seek the easiest thing that requires the least amount of energy? Well, porn lets the brain do exactly that. When watching porn, the mind bypasses all the difficult effort, energy, and potential pain of rejection that would be required to complete at least one of the steps towards fulfilling your biological purpose. Porn shifts reality and gives an illusion to the brain of the person that he or she is the king or queen in the situation, being able to pick any partner they want or a number of partners. in any position, any type of environment, with any type of fantasy. Being able to control time by pausing, rewinding, going forward, making it faster, slower, and so on also puts you in control. Excessive distortion of reality like this over time teaches the brain that this is what sexual reality is, and there's nothing better than that, even though it couldn't be further from the truth. This can cause a person to not be satisfied with how sex is in real life, which usually is about the touch and the emotional connection with your partner. It can also cause you to lose any drive or motivation to pursue real life sex in the first place. You're content staying at home watching porn. All these negative things combined pose a real danger to you if you consume it too much, as you might waste years of your life that you could have spent sharing with another person you love. Now, escaping reality and wasting your life in your 20s doesn't just end there. Mindless scrolling through social media is another great way to live a not so great life. Other than the fact that getting sucked up in constantly looking at a screen for hours, disproportionate social media consumption poses serious risks to your mental health. When what you see on the screen is the perfect life your family, friends, or even strangers are living, it causes sadness and can even lower your self-esteem because you compare your life with theirs. In reality, all of what you see online, especially on social media, is just a highlight reel of people's lives. It's a carefully curated process that people are showing because that's what they want you to see. And it's also what gets the most engagement. And it's not only that, but social media platforms and the content on it is becoming shorter and more controversial. For example, just look at TikTok, YouTube Shorts, or IG Reels. The content that performs best is almost 7 seconds long. Why? Because people will watch one video after another, and this creates a feedback loop of immediate, easy to get dopamine and keeps you hooked. On a platform like Twitter, tweets that polarize people with controversy get the most engagement. That's what hooks you in, and now you find yourself sitting on the toilet, arguing with some stranger on the internet about who's the best basketball player in the world. And just for the record, it's not LeBron James. I mean, come on, give me a break. All right, so you might notice that almost all of these time wasters come from using technology and the internet. I say almost because there is one other huge time and life waster left. Again, coming back to Michael's story in the beginning, Michael doesn't look towards the future. He doesn't have a purpose. Many people wouldn't think so. I mean, he's in university. But what good will a degree do to a person who doesn't know how he will use it or if he even wants to? We've been raised in society to believe that after finishing high school, university and college is the next step, and there are no other paths if you want to be successful. This creates immense pressure for people, especially young people, to choose something to study without even thinking deeply about whether they want that career or whether that path will even make them happy. Unlike other bad habits mentioned before, going to study is a major life event that usually takes years to complete. That's why if this decision is made too rapidly, huge amounts of time will be wasted with no way of getting it back. If you're gonna go to university, go with a purpose. Study subjects you are interested in and want to learn about, and use it as a time to improve your productivity and study habits and improve your network and your social skills. But if you're just gonna go to university to muck about, play video games all day, spend a bunch of time wasting your time on social media, fail a bunch of classes, eat junk food, and not even really learn anything about yourself, then you're probably wasting your time, and you're better off saving your parents' hard-earned money. Now, Alex Hormozi has a really good video that talks about whether college is a good choice for you or not, and so I'll link that in the description below. But just remember, it's okay to take some time to really think about these decisions. So there you have it, the 5 biggest time wasters in your 20s. Now, all of these have a lot more in common than not, but the biggest similarity is that they all waste time. And time is something in your life you can't get back. So use your time wisely. All right, so now let's talk about how you can do that. Here are 3 approaches to not lose this precious time in your life. Now, there's no one-size-fits-all solution for everybody when it comes to stopping wasting your time. But there are 3 approaches that you can take: limiting, getting rid of, or replacing the time wasters. All of these can be combined as well. You have to figure out what works best for you. So perhaps you're the type of person who can just limit movies and TV, but you can't limit gaming. So you have to either get rid of or replace it with a good habit. Replacing bad habits with good ones can be the key to unlocking life instead of wasting it. So maybe when it comes to gaming, you could replace it with building actual useful skills in real life, things that you are interested in and which can potentially elevate your success in the future. So instead of gaming all weekend long, you get a part-time job and start building skills. It also doesn't hurt to make a bit of money. For replacing the consumption of films and TV series, you could read a book or start a journal where you write down your life in a narrative way. If you stop watching porn, this could lead you to have an increased desire and motivation to pursue actual real life relationships And maybe you even find someone that you love. Social media can be replaced with exercising, going on adventures, spending time in nature, all the things that you might see on social media that look perfect. But instead, you can experience them for yourself. Finally, wasting your life by being uncertain of your future in university, college, or some other place you don't belong could be replaced by spending a year working a full-time job to discover more about yourself. The key ultimately is about how you learn and how you develop, what skills you have, because that's what's going to make you successful in the future. This is especially important if you're not really serious about school. It's so expensive and it takes up so much time. It's not worth it to waste it. Now, whatever you choose, it will take effort and willingness to be uncomfortable for a period of time to develop meaningful ways to spend your time and not waste it with regret. It doesn't matter though, as you only have one life, so you might as well use it wisely. So tell me, could your life be better if you limited, got rid of, or replaced these time wasters? You can find the answer by putting on Michael's shoes for a moment. How much further could Michael go if he didn't waste his life and spent it in a productive way? How much further could you go? Now, to change unhealthy habits, there are actually 5 stages you go through. So watch this video to learn what they are and how you can live your best life.